Okay, it's reached that point. I can no longer depend on this thing. I'm staying in one piece. It's starting to fall through now, so all this cheap crap I put on here as a temporary worked out pretty good. But now it's time to burn all that and replace these boards. While I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and clean up and paint this trailer probably too. At least part of it. At least the part down at the bottom. I'll paint anything around there first, and then I'll see what happens after that. I really need to get a big spray gun, or get my big spray gun working. If not, I'll do it with the little spray bombs. Got some cleaning up to do, but main thing, I got to get that deck done, and then I've got to figure out my lights on here, because they're acting up a little bit. Probably a ground. It's always a ground. So slowly working our way through this thing. Tinker, finally replaced that jack. I believe I had it so many years without it. I really need a better mount for the spare tire, so maybe one of these days I'll do that too. Just having it tied on there with some old ropes probably not great. Anyway, we're on our way to Lowe's. Get me some planks. And here we are. These are, what do they call them? 5/4. Like 6x12 premium. Just gotta make sure we go through them all, because we're all tore up. Okay, it's stripped out. All its wood was really easy too, because it all just peeled up out of there. And there's our pile. Looking pretty good, except a little damage here, which I don't know how that happened. But we're about to clean it, and we're gonna clean the wire brush it at least and prime and paint it. Get a real floor in there. Okay, very good. Alright, so we started going after this thing with wire brushes, just manually. Just to clean off the scale and things. And it's got a lot of lichen and stuff on it, so what I'm going to do is take it over to the shop, other shop, and pressure wash it. Pull off all the loose stuff, and we'll see how much I got to clean it up. If I got to take a grinder or anything. I think it's looking pretty good though. Gonna prime and paint everything down there. We'll start putting those boards in there. But it's looking pretty good. I think this is gonna work out very nicely. A lot easier to get everything off it than I thought. Alright, see how it goes. Now I gotta pressure wash it and wire brush as much as I'm gonna do, and then I get my Sure Shot full of brake cleaner and I spray everything down. Same thing I'd do if I was gonna paint, because that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna paint, and that degreases everything, and this dries absolutely dry, evaporates completely. And I'm gonna get out the good primer and hit it. Actually, the next thing I'm gonna do is if I get some big chunks, I'll get the wire brush out again and repeat the process. Before I paint it. Blow all this off away and all the dirt and loose paint and scale and all that. Alright, well, we're almost there. Primed, painted, almost completely painted, not quite. Still got the grading. I used a lot of paint that I had. I did not go all the way and weld these things back together yet, which I had intended on doing, because I'm just running out of time right now. I'm just, and there's the decking's ready to go, and the 1x4s are going to go front and rear. I got to get some more. I got to buy another couple of cans of red paint. Should be able, no problem, take care of it in one, but that's fine. I got to buy one extra. That's the thing to do. If you're curious at how much paint it took, well, all those cans right there, now they weren't all full, but 7.5 of those red cans were. Those are the big 15-ounce ones, and at least 3-4 primers. So it's getting up there. I still need a couple more cans to finish this thing out, and then we'll be ready to start installing our deck there. So that's next on the agenda. A little more painting. We'll be ready to go. Alright, here we are, 99% painted. There may be something left over, but that's like a dozen cans of red paint. 10 bucks. It's 150 bucks. And then there's another half a dozen primer. Another 60 bucks. I'm just going to say you're probably looking at 200 bucks to repaint one of these things. I used a lot of paint that I had left over, so, but I want to paint it all red. You're not going to be able to miss this thing. Next, I'm going to measure across. I believe that's 76 inches from one side to the other, because there's a gap in there. And those boards are 1 inch, and I got a pretty good gap, so I think I got to run the 1x4s up underneath them once I put that in there. Ooh, I can't. This one I can wait. That one I can't. I got to put it up in there, because I can't get it up in there after the boards are on there. So, all right. Well, I think that's what I'm gonna do next. Is cut a few pieces and ignore the cows if I can. Maybe these boards have been out in the rain, so I might be able to just flex them and pop them right in there. We'll see here in just a minute. Yeah. Okay, well, this is learn as you go. I thought I could just drop one of these in there. Well, I know what I'm gonna have to do is pick it up in the middle eventually, but that's gonna require a couple of people. Right now it's just me. It fits up there in the front. Back here it's a little too tight, so I put it in sideways and tried to beat it on in there, but it's getting too tight up here in the corners. Not quite enough room in there, so I'm gonna have to probably give a blade width or so, the size of this 1x4, 3.5 inches on the bottom side, relieve that, and I may still be able to pop them in sideways like that till I get to the point where I have to pick it up in the middle and drop it over. Perhaps I'll go check YouTube and see what they say. I'm sure there's videos out there that'll save me a lot of trouble. I'm gonna go check that out. Okay, well, I was right. First one I looked at, they had a removable angle in the back, and as you can see, this is not. So when they came out, this is the configuration they're in, and basically, yeah, the video I just watched, they do the same thing. They put these in there sideways, tap them around, they get to the last ones, and they got to jack it up in the middle. So that's what we're going to do there, but I have to get some clearance in here because there's no clearance. I don't get why, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to relieve this maybe with my chop saw and do a little dangerous manual work on it. I don't know if I'm going to do it. Probably not. I'm probably going to do it with a skill saw because this is too long for me to manipulate in there. So I'm going to pry it back out of there and probably starting this tomorrow if I can find a skill saw. I'm sure I can come up with one. Alright, that's what we're going to do. Or I might go ahead and do this configuration. That'll put the boards right on top of where they're supposed to be. The way they were set up, there's a little gap up in front here, and the boards just kind of swoop down. But if I do this, I can cut this little piece the same width, tap it up under there. This will go in there no problem to start with, and then whatever little gap I've got in there, I might be able to build me a shim to go up in there. I'm gonna have to look into that. That'd be a lot easier than trying to get the trim all the long boards down. And this way, this will put them all down on top of where they belong. No bowing, because those boards are the exact length they need to be, I think. Methinks that's what I'm going to be looking at. Mañana. Start over again. Alright, so here's the procedure. Pretty straightforward. You put them in diagonal. Up under there. Up under there. Slide them on in there. So far I've got one that doesn't fit. It's a little too long. I'm going to be limited on that though, because you can only put them in diagonal for so far. So I may end up putting the... I'm going to try to put the last cut one. It's probably going to be this one because it's dicked up on the edge over there. I think it's got to be cut down a couple inches or something. So it's going to be the last one. Well, that one's... I'm not sure. That's not going to go in the end. I don't want to put the cut one on the end. It's probably going to be the next one over. That I'll see how it goes. So far I'm just going to see how many I can cram in there, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, looks like that's about as far as I go. From here on it's going to be bendy. Put a jack in the middle. Going to take a couple people. Push one end down and get them back in there. Yep, that's as far as we can go. Okay, this is what we're doing. Apparently these boards are a little too long, so I put them in place. The last one, of course, that's a 1x4, which is 3.5 inches. So it looks like 3.5 inches is going to be the size I'm going to have to cut this board down to. Oh, inconvenient not making it so that it fits perfectly. So this is a 5.5. I got to cut 2 inches off it. What I'm going to do is go ahead and trim these down. Get them all laid down flat. Of course, not quite flat because they're going to be on the top there, but close enough to verify that 3.5 inches. But I think it's pretty well defined right there. But 8 o'clock, but you know what? It's summertime. I got an hour left of sun and fire. So I'm going to go ahead and do some trimming and go ahead and do this before it gets dark. Okay, here's the high quality fixture. Got my chop saw ready to go. Got a 2x4 under here. It wasn't quite high enough, so I threw that one of the 1x4s in there, and it's ready to chop that sucker right there, and we'll go put it back in there and see how it fits. Okay, cut them all down to 144 inches. Actually, I cut the first one to 144 1/4, and it turns out it really should be 144 inches. See the difference in there, but I think it'll be alright. But you know what? I may just trim that while I get the saw out. So the other thing, it looks like it's going to be 3.5 inches down there, but hopefully I can get 3.5 inches up here too. You can see it's kind of, there's gaps in here, which 3.5 inches is probably going to be correct. I think I'm definitely going to cut that one down. But if I smash it on in there, well, that one's going to be in before. I'll probably put that one and that one. I'll probably use this one to smash in. Hopefully I won't do too much damage. And see if anything pops up. But I don't think it will, because after that I'm going to take that 1x4. Measure, this one will go in all the way. No problem. Measure how big that flange is. I don't know if that is 2 1/4, 2.5 inches or something. And trim those 1x4s down to that. And this one back here is going to be tough, because it doesn't want to fit in there. So I'll have to see what happens when I get down there. I may have to somehow shave down that 1x4, make it thinner. I really like to put it underneath. You know what? I still may do that.
I'll have to go up underneath there and twist it between that cross member and that one over there, and knock it up underneath it, because that way it'll bring those boards up flush. Back there, this one doesn't matter because it's all the way up here. It'll be sitting down like that, but that'll have a little notch on it like that, and I don't want to do that, so I think I'll do that. I'm going to get up underneath there, twist that piece so that it goes up in diagonally, to do some measurements first to see how futile it might be, and then screw it. The original idea was to put those 1x4s in underneath there and then screw them to the boards to them. I think that's how it was before, but you know, I might be able to do that. I got room from here to there to get that in there diagonally and then beat it up underneath there. I think I may just try that. I'll give it a shot. Try to put them up underneath, bring everything flush up with that. No, wait a minute. Take that back. I remember now. They're sitting flat here. They're sitting flat where they need to be. They need to be flat. Maybe back there. Once again, I think it's just my original idea. Back there I might pop them up. That'll just pick them up off of here. But I don't know how much that'll flex. I don't really want to screw them down to anything. Well, I'll just have to see. I'll start with this front one. Yeah, it's definitely going on the top here. We'll just see how it goes. First things first, I gotta get some help here so I can jack these boards up in the middle and work them into the corners. So that'll be the next project. Alright, so this is the front stage. I'm going to grab a floor jack. Fortunately, I am by myself, so I want to try a trick. This should be the configuration. You can see how those are cut off now. I'm gonna put a jack behind the end of this thing. Yeah, I know. Jeez. And try to jack up in the middle a little bit. See if I can bend one of these things down enough. And when I determined how that's going to be, how high it can go, I'm going to release the handle on the floor jack so it slowly releases and lowers, and hopefully I can time that so I can do it by myself. We shall see. That's the plan, Stan. Okay, first one successful. So that board's kind of twisted around, isn't it? Alright, there's my setup. I got a piece of 2x4, which that's as far as it goes down, but that's okay. What I'm ended up doing is jacking this thing up 10 inches right in the center, so 6 feet in, I believe. Somewhere around 10 inches. So that 10 inches. And then I'm going to loosen my jack so it starts to come down very slowly, and I'm going to go over and stand on that part. That's what I'm going to do. Mid shot, I managed to step on that one and get it started in there, but make sure it stayed back in there, and then you simply lower the jack. We'll see if I can get a complete shot. Lower the jack all the way down. I'm trying to keep it in that spot and just moving them over as I go. Well, this isn't going to go as smooth as I thought. I don't know where they... I think it's in the boards. The boards are warped a little bit. But look at the gap on this side. That's weird. So I went ahead and put the small 3.5 inch cut piece on the outside because this will bend easier than these will. And that last one I put in there is going to have to be forced, pried down in there to take out the gaps. I may have to get a hose and hose it down, or wait till it rains or something, because look at the gaps in there. So yeah, 3 to go. Let's see what happens. It's coming along though. It's working out. Just like I planned. It's a little easier with the second person, but you know what? Sometimes you gotta go with what you got. Okay, let's see if we can catch this without breaking anything. Camera, myself, legs. Alright, so I'm gonna start dropping it down. Watching the end of it. You can see it coming down. Make sure it's pushed all the way that way. Hold it down in the groove. As it comes down. Once it gets under there, come over here, drop the rest of the way. Alright, there you go. Pull that other piece out of there. Let's see what happens with this last one. I'm just going to move that over and put the last one in that same spot. This may get ugly. Hopefully it's going to work out. So, the big gap that was in there, I put a ratchet strap on it. I had to jam this old piece of 1x4 the leftover in here, which is kind of weird because I got a 1x4 to go across this whole thing, and the idea is to tap it up under there. But it is not tapping very well, but I had to do that because all these boards were shifting. And I got that one cranked down to exactly where it needs to be. So I got this one in, so I'm going to go down there and see if I can put a couple of more straps, one in the middle, one in the end. Hopefully I'll be able to pull these ends back out of the slots when I get it in there. Yeah, we'll have to see. Once I get it put in that side, maybe I can take that one out and then see how this other third one goes. Yeah, we'll see. Alright, looks like 2 straps are going to do it. I got that one started on this side, and that end down there pulled down. Looks like I can get this one started, and all I got to do is get this started in there, and then I can release the straps while it's still sort of up in the air, and it won't be pinching so bad. So maybe that one down there, we'll see. Looks like it's doable. Alright, I'm going to try to shoot it from this side. I'll be looking into the sun otherwise. I don't know how that's going to come out. We'll just see. Alright, ready to lower. This could get ugly. It's coming down slow. Way up there. There we go. Slowly but surely. Come on. Come on. A little quicker would be nice. Almost. Come on. All right. I'll let it down just a little more, and I'm gonna hold it right there. I get these straps out of here, and then we'll pull it, let it drop all the way. Stand by. Alright, straps are out. Let's see if it'll drop where it belongs, or if I'm gonna have to beat the living heck out of it. maybe get it wet. I don't know what's going to happen when it comes down. How am I going to get all those down? Let's see, I'm going to have to jump and up and down on it. Like that. See, I was trying to pick up there. Alright, that's all the way down. I got to drop that 2x4 out of there, and I don't know what I'm going to do about little gap. That's okay. Water can run through there. I don't know if I'm going to attach this or when I pin the ends, if I can, either top or bottom. There's not a lot of room in there, is there? Well, let me get that out of there and walk around here and see how this, let's get that out of there and decide what to do next. But we're usable, nothing else. Okay, well, I've returned this thing to service. I have not yet done anything with the ends, but the boards all seem to be doing okay, and they move around just a teeny bit, but even up front here, that one's a little out of whack. My 3/4 inch has disappeared, so I am going to wedge something up in there. But for now, I've been using it. It's working just dandy. Looks good. So that's it for the moment. I will mount that tire up front here one of these days. But we're cruising. So that's the basic procedure for that at the moment, and do another one when I get around to doing the rest of it. Now we're good to go.